Keith One Time Thurman may come back this October, and he might even be on somebody's undercard. Stay tuned. Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, courtesy of ESPN, they had Showtime exec Steven Espinoza on their podcast show, and they talked about the return of Keith One Time Thurman on the boxing beat. Dan Rayfield said of ESPN says, per Steven Espinoza in my lengthy interview with him on this week's boxing beat, Keith Thurman could be back around October and might wind up on the undercard of a big event, perhaps Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. So that tells me a couple things. Keith Thurman's still on that bullshit. I thought he was coming back in like August, then September. Now it's October. And then the other thing is it shows that the Spence Garcia is looking like it's forming legs, and they're really interested in putting this together, right? Because they're talking about it. Now, the thing that's crazy is Keith Thurman just main evented, did good numbers at the Barclay, did good numbers on TV with Danny Garcia in his last fight last March last year, and now he's being relegated to possibly being on someone's undercard. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And you usually don't see people fall from Graceland like this. But Keith Thurman, I mean, he went from being one of the most entertaining, exciting, charismatic stars in the sport. And people felt his energy, his hunger, his analysis. The only time they was mad at him is when he fought on the Broner Maidana card. And he said, San Diego! And they were like, boo, because he was in San Antonio. Like, motherfucker, you better not duck me, son. You was not in San Diego. San Diego is in California, motherfucker. You was in San Antonio, Texas. That's a big difference. But it's crazy. It's crazy to see what's happened with his career. He's kind of like the Derrick Rose of boxing, where he's been sidelined and injuries and surgery, and then come back and say he's injured again, and then relinquish one of his belts, the WBC belt. Like, what'd you beat Danny Garcia for? Now Danny Garcia and Showtime Shawn Porter fighting for your old belt, two guys you already beat, and now they're fighting for your belt. It's crazy. So it is what it is, but that's the latest. Maybe October, and might even be on the undercard, which is crazy because usually guys, once they get to main event status, there's no turning back. And then your boy Keith Thurman might actually be on someone's on an Errol Spence. I mean, I just thought about that. Listen to what I'm saying carefully, people. It went from Errol Spence was the nobody in the division, and I don't mean nobody like that. I don't want y'all motherfuckers to run back to Errol. Oh, Ego said you're a nobody. But what I meant was he wasn't the guy who was in the limelight. He wasn't the guy who was making the headlines, and he wasn't the main event. He was people's undercard. You know what I mean? Like Errol Spence versus Phil LaGreco, those fights and stuff like that. But fast forward to the future, and he was calling out Keith Thurman for years. He'd been calling, and Floyd Mayweather called for it. He said, Keith Thurman, he said he wanted to fight me, but fight I want to see is Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. I think that's a hell of a fight. Two young, hungry lions. You're right. And this has been going on for years. Fast forward to the future, they're talking about making Keith Thurman on an Errol Spence undercard with Mikey Garcia. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that would build excitement for the card, but that's crazy because Keith Thurman was on and popping. He had his career, like, you know what I mean, to the point where he had graduated to main event and stuff like that before Errol Spence. You know what I mean? His fight with Shawn Porter, things like that. Did good numbers with that. So he had the fast track, but somehow Errol Spence has caught up to him to the point where Errol Spence is now main eventing, you know, with Lamont Peterson, Ocampo in Texas, did 14,000 plus. I went to that fight. And they're talking about putting Thurman on his undercard, possibly. Showtime exec, Showtime president, Steven Espinoza. That's crazy how a couple years, the difference a couple years makes. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman might be on Spence's undercard. First of all, Thurman was on before him, and people were talking about Thurman giving Spence, the young, hungry up-and-comer, an opportunity. Now, Thurman might get an opportunity to be on Spence, Mikey Garcia undercard. See, and that's the thing with boxing. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. People, they forget about you if you're not active enough. Like you can't just disappear it's like Antonio Margarito or something. Like nobody knew what the fuck he was doing. He just come back and his eyes still look like it's bothering him. Like, where'd you come from? I thought you retired. You know, that's like that's why you haven't seen me make no videos about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Sergio Maravilla Martinez. They're talking about fighting. I mean, I'm not really super interested. Martinez had been retired. Chavez Jr. looked dreadful versus Canelo and disappeared and got robbed by some thoughts. Like, I mean, that's why I haven't made no video, because I'm a businessman. I'm a true professional. I got stuff to do, and that's just not high on the priority list. Sergio Martinez and Chavez rematch. You know, I would watch it, I guess, but that's why you ain't seen no videos from me. But anyway, that's the latest. Thurman might fight on Errol Spence's undercard, or maybe they make him a main event, but it's just looking crazy. He has one belt still, I think, the WBA, which was a little bit confusing because they put Super WBA belt on the Pacquiao-Matisse belt. I seen it inscribed on the belt. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. That's the latest on Keith Thurman. Maybe coming back this October. And you know what else? It's just this hurts because I like Keith Thurman. I've always been a fan of Keith Thurman. I've interviewed Keith Thurman. He's a good dude. He's an eloquent speaker. He's a good fighter. This hurts because the thing with Keith Thurman is like, bro, you might be on someone's undercard now. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is, Keith Thurman said in January, listen, I got invited to New York by Showtime, or their whatever PR people, to cover, is called Showtime Boxing Up Front. And it was that big, it was at the end of January. I know it was in January for sure, of this year. January. And they had all the fighters there: Charlos, Deontay Wilder, Luis King Kong Ortiz, Adrian Broner, Omar Figueroa was there, Danny Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz. Like, it had all these guys, you guys remember, and it was like Showtime unveiling all these fights that they had scheduled for the first half of the year, right? And they had it on a little stage in New York, blah blah blah. Keith Thurman was there. Keith Thurman was doing interviews that particular day, you know what I mean, because they had media opportunities. And Keith Thurman was like, I'm not fighting Errol Spence, not gonna happen, baby, but we're coming back to the sport. This is my get back year. Some get back year. You really got the fuck back. This was in January, and they're talking about you fighting in October, and you haven't fought since March. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's some get back year. You got all the way back. That like ludicrous. Get back, motherfucker, get back. You don't know me like that. October, you were supposed to fight in like February, April, May, March, September, August, every month. And now it's October. Like, this is crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next videos, Ego sign up. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.